The second thing that really drove me mad on page 25 was line 1, 2, 3, 4, measure 3. So measure 15. And the reason this is difficult, the reason I had to practice this part so hard is because you're going from higher notes to increasingly lower notes. And as we pivot, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, that interval just continues to expand. And so that means that our embouchure is going to have to change significantly from the high notes to the low notes. So a shortcut for this is to feel like when you're doing a higher note, you say ooh, and when you do a lower note, you're going to say ah. Now I want you to notice what part of your mouth makes each one of those sounds. When you say ooh, your lips go together and they go forward. When you say ah, your jaw separates, your vocal cords go down, your soft palate raises, and the back of your tongue goes down. Now, as long as you have those vowel sounds, you don't have to know specifically as you're playing, you don't have to think about all of those mouth parts. But if you notice that you're cracking, go back and check in, inventory each one of those mouth parts and make sure they're all doing the right thing. Another funny way to think about this section is e-aw, and then it kind of sounds like a donkey braying, e-aw, 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 as you go through it. So I'm going to play this section for you really slowly, and I may or may not crack. This part is difficult, and I frankly need to practice it more, and so do you. So I'm going to attempt to make sure that the higher notes, my lips are forward, and the lower notes, throat down, soft palate up, tongue down, and teeth slightly separated. I jinxed myself by saying I was going to crack. And that does bring us to the other difficulty in here. You have a G sharp that goes to a high D sharp. And a D sharp is an overtone of G sharp. So you can actually get that high D sharp out just by fingering that G sharp, but changing to that ooh sound. As I go to that higher note, I am paying attention to lips forward. I'm also paying attention to the height of my embouchure and the width of my embouchure, because both of those are going to contract a little bit for that higher note. I have to make sure that my chin, my nose are slightly down when I go to those higher notes. If you play like you're in marching band, you can hear how it sort of stresses my voice. It cuts our air off, and it puts us at the wrong angle to play the flute. Particularly with those higher notes. So make sure your nose stays down and practice some of those overtones if you find yourself cracking when you're going to that D sharp or when you're going between the high E and the low E. G sharp, D sharp. G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, D sharp. It was already better. Spend a lot of time on this measure. It will yield good results. And as you're doing it, once again, always make sure that you're specifically taking note of what your timing is like and what the specific parts of your mouth and your face and your throat are doing.